Recently, we saw a drone attack in Jammu on 27 and 28. So, in this editorial, we are going to discuss that the terrorists have modified their way of working. So, now they are taking the use of drones. That's why the title is Flying Terror. So, terrorists are giving or terrorists are carrying out their activities through various modes, है ना? And in this mode we are going to discuss their flying mode. So they are using drones, है ना? That's why it is called flying terror. International cooperation is a must. When we say that something is a must, it means that should be done immediately. It is very urgent or it is compulsory. So international cooperation is a must in combating. Combat means to fight against something. New modes of terror attacks. So editorial says that if we want to fight against the new methods of terror attacks, then international cooperation is needed. The use of drones to attack an Indian Air Force base in Jammu on June 27-28 brought to the fore. When we bring something to the fore, it means we bring that thing to the light. Troubling means which creates trouble for you, though not unanticipated. This is opposite of anticipated. Anticipate means when you hope for something, when you expect for something. So editorial said that the attack was, you cannot say that this attack was not expected. It was expected. We knew that the terrorists will apply new methods, and the same thing happened. The terrorists used drones to attack an Indian Air Force base in Jammu, and this brings to the light. Brought to the fore or bring to the fore means bring to the light a troubling new mode of terrorism for the country, है ना? And in this attack we have seen that the terrorists are using new methods of working. Though there were no casualties at the base. Casualties means the number of people died, है ना? Or the number of deaths. So there were no casualties at the base, so you can say that everyone was safe. No death happened. The fact that there were at least two more subsequent means following. If something happens after something, it is called subsequent event. So subsequent at least two more subsequent attempts to use drones to attack military target points to the future of terrorists. So editorial says that the fact that there were at least two more subsequent attempts. So the terrorists tried two more attempts to use drones to attack military target points. It signifies the future of terrorism. So editorial says that in future we may see more drones attacks. The use of unmanned aerial vehicle. This is the full form of UAV. If you are using any vehicle and without any man, aerial means related to air. So editorial says that unmanned aerial vehicles. Autonomous means it is not dependent on anything. Autonomous weapons system and robotic soldiers by states. In warfare means the activities related to war. And policing means to supervise something, है ना? To, you can say that to when you increase vigilance, है ना? It is called policing. Has raised moral and practical questions that remain unresolved. Unresolved means that has not been solved. So editorial says that we see a new system is being used by the terrorists. In this new system, autonomous weapons are being used. Autonomous weapons means there is no use of man. Robotic soldiers, now at present during the war, robotic soldiers are being used, and policing has raised moral and practical questions that remain unresolved. So editorial says that we see that so many questions have arisen, and we have no solution for these type of questions, that how to tackle this type of robotic soldiers or drone attacks. Non-state actors have caught up quickly. Non-state actors have caught up quickly. What is non-state actors? Non-state actors means any individual or any organization that has, you can say that has powerful political influence but is not related to any political party. Like in Indian context, we may say that the RSS is a non-state actor. In many countries, there may be a religious leader or any group that is not directly in politics, but that has significant influence over public. It is called non-state actor. So editorial says that these methods have been quickly used by non-state actors. Like editorial gives example. What did we see in 2018? Syrian rebel. Rebel means you will be called rebel if you try to destabilize the government. If you revolt against the existing government, it means you are a rebel. So Syrian rebels used homemade drones to attack Russian military bases in Syria. So in 2018, we saw that Syrian rebels used homemade drones for attacking on Russian military bases in Syria. Later, following the same year, in the same 2018, what did we see? Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro had a narrow escape. When you have a narrow escape, means you escaped, you can say that you were very close to accident, but you escaped from that accident, then you may say it is a narrow escape. After a drone flying towards him exploded a short distance away. Blasted. So editorial says that a drone was flying towards Nicolas Maduro. It happened in 2018. A drone was flying towards Nicolas Maduro, and that drone blasted a short distance away, and he escaped somehow. You can say that it was a close escape. It was a narrow escape. What did we see in 2019? Houthi rebels claimed responsibility for bombing Saudi oil installation using drones. In 2018, we saw Houthi rebels take responsibility. Claimed responsibility means take responsibility. It means Houthi rebels blasted Saudi oil installation with the help of drones. New modes of sabotage. This word sabotage is very important. It is frequently asked in bank PO exams or SSC exams. Sabotage means to destroy something. New modes of sabotage and violence enabled by technology. So editorial says that technology has given so many instruments to us, and that are very useful for violence and for sabotaging. And if you use technology to sabotage something, if you use technology for violence, it reduces costs and risks of identification for terrorists. Previously, when terrorists were carrying out their activities, they had to, you can say that they had to pay a lot of costs, and there was a risk of identification. But with the help of technology, you may remain hidden and you can say that you can carry out your operations while increasing their efficacy. Efficacy means effectiveness. So editorial says that with the use of technology, terrorists have increased their efficacy. Simultaneously, at the same time, security agencies would find conventional tools redundant Redundant means something that is useless. So editorial says that security agencies will feel that the conventional instruments have become useless in fighting against terrorism. Combat means to fight against something. So editorial says that if nowadays if we want to fight against terrorism, then security agencies must use new methods. Terrorism may not even require organizations. At present, nowadays we see with the help of technology, we see that there is no need of organization. Previously, if you want to commit a crime, or if you want to operate any, you can say that any criminal activity, or you want to do any if you want to create terror among people, then you needed an organization. But at present, as individuals with sufficient motivation and skills can carry out means to perform something, such attacks, and remain under the radar. If you remain under the radar means you remain unnoticed. You remain under the radar means you remain unnoticed, and you can hide yourself like the drones they use. So editorial says that at present, if anybody wants to, you can say that, operate any terror activities, he can do very easily if he has sufficient motivation. Then with the help of technology, he can carry out such attacks and without being noticed. The existing international framework means existing international system for controlling the proliferation. Proliferation means the spread of something, proliferation of technology that can be weaponized. So at present we have an international system to control the technology, the technology that can be used as weapon, So it is there is a need to control the proliferation of technology. There is a need to stop the spread of technology that can be used as weapons. So we have some framework, like we have some system like such as the Wassenaar arrangement and missile technology control regime. Regime means system. Is also largely useless in the emerging scenario. Emerging means that is coming out. So at present what is the scenario we see? In that scenario we see that the existing means that is in practice, existing international system for controlling technology is not working. States including India have sought, this is the second form and third form of seek. Seek means to desire something, to deal with means to tackle something, to handle something. States including India have sought to deal with terrorism with a combination of stringent laws. Stringent means very strict, very severe. So editorial says that to deal with or to handle terrorism, some states or some countries like India, they are using some strong laws, some, you can say that, very strict laws. Invasive surveillance. Surveillance means when you observe something very closely, it is called surveillance. What is invasive? Invasive means if something has a tendency to spread very quickly, we may call it is invasive in nature. So like we can say that coronavirus is invasive, because it can spread very quickly. So something that has the quality to spread very quickly, it is invasive. So we are increasing our vigilance, or you can say that some countries are increasing their vigilance. Some countries are taking the use of strict laws. Harsher also means very, you can say that very strict. Policing. And offensive means attack against other countries that support terrorist group. So if any country find out that some other countries are supporting terrorist groups, then that country is attacking on the country that is supporting terrorist groups. So editorial says that like India is targeting the countries that are supporting terrorist groups, है ना. India is attacking, है ना. Offensive means to attack. And you can say that so many steps have been taken, like you can say that strict laws, and you can say that increased surveillance, harsh policing, and attacks against the country that is supporting terrorist group. But editorial says that this method has only had limited success in ensure means to make sure peace anywhere. Editorial says that, but we couldn't establish peace with this approach. Okay, this approach was successful, but to a small extent. While the human and material costs have been high, but in this approach we paid a lot of cost. Human and as well as you can say that material costs have been high. It has been high. The exponential proliferation means the spread of something. Exponential, if I say the coronavirus is spreading exponentially, it means coronavirus is spreading very rapidly. So exponential means if something spreads rapidly, it is called exponential. The exponential proliferation of new technologies and artificial intelligence, like drone, comes under artificial intelligence. Robotic soldiers come under artificial intelligence. So editorial says that we see widespread use of new technologies and artificial intelligence, everywhere, vertically and horizontally, means everywhere. Will make the task of combating means to fight against something, task of combating terror even more challenging. So editorial says that the proliferation, you can say that the spread of technology is very higher, and it is creating a challenge for us that it has become very difficult to combat terror. The Jammu drone attack, Indian authorities reportedly suspect. Suspect means if you have doubt on something, you suspect that person. So Indian authorities, so you can say that Indian government thinks that was carried out. If you carry out something, it means you perform that thing, you take action, was carried out by the Lashkar-e-Taiba. So you can say that Indian authorities believe that this action was carried out by the LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is patronized by Pakistan. If you patronize something, means you provide support to that thing or that person. So editorial says that Lashkar-e-Taiba enjoys the support of Pakistan, and the Indian authorities believe that the Jammu drone attack was carried out by the LET. And LET was also responsible for the Mumbai attack. The same group, means LET, was behind the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. In 2008 we saw Mumbai terror attacks, and the same group, it means Lashkar-e-Taiba was responsible for Mumbai attack. What happened in Mumbai attack? In which perpetrator means criminals, perpetrator means the persons who were responsible for the crime. So perpetrators came by boats from Pakistan. So in 2008 Mumbai terror attack, the perpetrators came by boats from Pakistan. India has tried to punish Pakistan for its support to terror groups in recent years, which has shown some success. So India has tried to punish Pakistan, because India saw that Pakistan is continuously supporting some terror groups. So India has punished Pakistan for its activities in recent years, and India has gained some success. The entry of drones call for means to make to necessitate something, है ना, to make necessary something. The entry of drones calls for a more complex response to terrorism, but editorial says that it is a new method. The attack, है ना, that is being carried out with the help of drones, है ना. Now it demands if we want to combat terrorism, then we should use more complicated, more complex response, है ना. Editorial says terror groups do capitalize on state patronage, है ना. Editorial says that terror groups get their resources from state or from the country, है ना, which is supporting them, है ना. Patronage means to give support to something, है ना. Capitalize means how do you get your resources, how do you get your money. But technology is enabling them to be autonomous, है ना. If you become autonomous means you are completely independent in an unprecedented means something that has never happened before. It is called unprecedented. So editorial says that okay, it is true that terror groups are using resources of states, but at the same time technology is making them capable, or technology is making them autonomous, है ना. And it is first time we see this type of incident, है ना. It has never happened before. From turning passenger planes into missiles in 2001, terrorism has come a long way. So if something come a long way means it travel a lot of distance, है ना. So editorial said that in 2001 we saw that a passenger plane was turned into missile. Now, you know, from 2001 you can see that terrorism is traveling, and terrorism has modified, you know, a lot. Terrorism has come a long way means terrorism has modified since 2001 a lot. And one cannot foresee means one cannot predict, one cannot tell where it will go next, you know, where the terrorism will go, you know. So editorial said that at present we saw the drone attacks, you know, and what other technology uses can be taken by the terrorist, we cannot predict. Enhanced international cooperation. Enhanced means increased international cooperation and consensus. Consensus means agreement. You know, if you are agree on something, it means you have consensus on that thing. On the development and deployment. Deployment means if you deploy something means you make the use of something. Deployment of technologies are required. So editorial said that in the present scenario, you know, it is necessary that we should increase international cooperation, and that we should be agree to develop and use technology. It is very, you can say that it is very urgent to deal with the challenge. If we want to handle, deal with means to handle, to tackle. If we want to handle the growing terrorism, then international cooperation is a must, and we should have agreement on the development of technologies and the use of technologies. India can and must take, editorial says that India can and must take an active role in the process. India can and must take an active role in the process. So what is the process? The process is that international cooperation is needed if we want to fight against the terrorism. So India should play, or you can say that India should take initiative in this role, and India can do this.